Our scars tell stories of where we've been and what we've come through and who we are. Every day I'm reminded of this when I take a look at my own forearm, and there's an old scar from a vacation Bible school craft project gone awry. That's a story probably for another day, but the short version involves a plastic tub, a box cutter, and a dream of making something to retell the story of the parting of the Red Sea, I think. But when I look at this scar and I'm reminded of both what I went through to get it and what has happened since then, I'm reminded that I'm the same person who ended up in the emergency room having to explain that I was trying to make something crafty for church project and ended up injuring myself pretty good, and that I came through it, and that I've been through a whole bunch of other things along the way. Each of us, I suppose, has marks on our bodies that we wear, scars or places where there were surgeries or places you can still see the stitches from where you had to have something sewn up. And at their best, they remind us where we've been and that we're the same people who've come through those things in the past, even if the healing also says we've gone beyond the original injury. Something really powerful about the way our scars tell stories, and they remind me that I'm both a new person, that new skin has grown and healed up where there was an injury, but I still have the marks of what I've come through. In the Sunday after Easter, every year, we tell the story of grappling with the scars of the risen Jesus. And it's this fascinating detail that the gospel writers are all insistent in their own ways of telling, but John has this beautiful way of saying, on the evening of that first resurrection day, the tomb is empty. The women have been to the tomb. They've told some of the other disciples, but they are still huddled inside a room and locked because they were afraid. Because not only are they afraid, the same people who killed Jesus might be after them as well. The empire, the religious leaders, the crowds that were clamoring for Jesus' death, they could all spot Jesus' disciples. They could hear their accent. They stuck out, right? They're afraid. And even if the rumors they've heard of an empty tomb are true, they don't even know how to make sense of that as well. Everything seems frightening. So they lock the door, and their plan, as far as they've thought it through, is stay inside this locked room. And Jesus shows up. Something is different about Jesus because now this risen Jesus is able to appear inside locked doors. That's a difference. But he shows them the nail marks in his hands, and he invites them even to touch the wound in his side. It's fascinating to me, it's beautiful to me that Jesus chooses as evidence that it's him to point them to his scars. Jesus points them to the wounds as if to say, I'm the same one who went through the cross. It's the same body, the same person. I'm the same me. So if you are feeling like you've been abandoned, if you feel like you've been left to fend for yourselves in this crazy upside down world where it feels like everything is falling apart, no. I'm the same one. The same one who went to the cross is the same one who is alive and in this room. The scars tell that story. The scars not only say, I went to the cross for you, but the same one who went to the cross is the same one now with you in the room. It's interesting to me, too, that Jesus doesn't choose to, call out greatest hits moments. He doesn't say to his disciples, hey, sure, it's me. Don't you remember that time I multiplied loaves and fish? Don't you remember that time on the mountaintop where I started to glow? Don't you remember the water into wine? I mean, maybe anybody could have heard those stories. But Jesus points to a place of what looks like weakness. Take a look at these scars. Here's evidence of what I've gone through for you. And even after death did its worst, the scars are also evidence that Jesus came through all of that and is alive and present again. In the same way, the scar on my arm reminds me of both what I've come through and I healed, and I am here still. The scars you carry, the physical ones on your body, the ones on your heart, the ones on your spirit, sometimes they are painful, difficult places for us to acknowledge, but they're also evidence of what we've been through and that we've been brought through them as well. They become evidence that God has not abandoned us, that God has continued to be with us even in the most difficult places and bringing us through into something new, even when we're afraid of what that might look like because it seems so new and so uncertain. This Sunday, we invite you to join in that conversation. What is it to be people who encounter the risen Jesus through places of woundedness, through our scars? And maybe even how can we rediscover, reappreciate the scars we carry, the physical ones on your body, the ones you carry in your heart, and see in them evidence of both the God who's gone with us through all those times of suffering and sorrow before, but also has brought us through into new life and new possibilities. That's the conversation we're having this Sunday. Join us then.